Now, how does people get in touch with you to schedule an education session? Because after talking to you, I'm going to speak to my son's school, church. I want you to go talk to these kids and
Sure.
yeah.
Well, if you go on our website, it's www.theasservoproject.org.
Mhm.
Asservo is ASSERVO.
Mhm.
It's all one word, theasservoproject.org. You'll see an info, a contact page on our website, and just
Mhm.
fill it out.
Okay.
Your name, some contact information, and in the message say, I'd like to speak to somebody about coming to our school or to our church or to our community center, our Rotary Club. It doesn't matter. Whatever uh, organization. And we'll talk to you about it and what some of the requirements, and the requirements aren't many. And we'll schedule it. We'll look at our calendar and get you on the schedule.
Joe, you mentioned you guys primarily do your initial work online. I mean, so what kinds of things do you do? Like, can concerned parents contact you? Is this do you do like stings? I mean, how do you kind of get started on a case?
Well, we get them from a couple different ways, and I'm just going to grab something here. We have a national tip line. It's 877 SAVE 994. We also have the contact page on our website we just spoke about. You fill that out. We have people saying, hey, I have some information. I'd like to speak to somebody. We have people that know us directly. They contact us directly and say, hey, I got your name from somebody. I think my child's being exploited, or I have a friend or a family member, whatever the case may be. We had a family call us. They were missing their 19-year-old daughter who was in the university for 3.5 months. Law enforcement was looking for her for 3.5 months. There was another state. And they just thought she was a runaway, like she just left. She's 19. What are you going to do? Very minimal contact with their parents. She just quit college. Well, when they contacted us, we sort of reviewed the history and how this happened. And we said, well, I think she's being trafficked. They're like, what's that? Very wealthy family, extremely wealthy. So we talked to them about it, and they're like, man, I just never heard of this, or thought of this. So we also talked to the deputy, the sheriff's office in that jurisdiction, and we said, listen, we think she's being trafficked. And even they weren't really understanding what we were talking about. So we started to assist in the case, and we found her in 2.5 days.
Wow.
So, so we have a lot of technology and tradecraft. Everybody that works at the Asservo Project is former law enforcement or military, uh, special operations. Some are intelligence officers in the military, former. So we just bring all those skill sets to support law enforcement. We stay out of their way where there is a resource for them, for the parents. And sometimes these cases happen where it's a county with a dozen sheriffs that got to cover 200 square miles. So they just they don't have the personnel. So we support that, and that's kind of how why we formed. So those are the two ways, or three. Call us direct to get in contact with us, and we'll talk with you. We do get leads that aren't trafficking. People think it is, but as we start digging into it, um, we realize it's probably not trafficking, and we'll talk to them. We certainly get other cases or mental health, um, but we talk to everybody. Everybody gets a call back, and we see how we can help.
Is there a cost associated to come to the schools and churches to do education piece?
Yeah, we ask for an honorarium
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to come speak for $200. It basically provides that help cover the printing of the pamphlets we hand out, the gas for the people to get there. Certainly not a moneymaker for us, that's for sure. And if somebody doesn't have it, we can talk about it. But we usually try to, because we're getting so busy and we're printing more and more, and it's just, it's become quite the expense, especially gas. Gas has really gone up. Uh, so that's one of the requests, and the other request is that they have some AV there, a TV or a screen, because we have a PowerPoint that we sort of review with them and share with them.
Would you say what you guys do are investigations? So I mean, you become aware of something, and you collect evidence and things. So you get it to a point where it's more actionable for police. In other words, it's something that they can, they don't have to invest all this time in, which I guess resources are kind of thin. So you
Sure.
present them with something that they can now really act on. Is that
100%. We
okay?
work it from a cyber investigation and what we'll call human intelligence investigation, right?
Okay.
And being most everybody former law enforcement, we know the elements of what the police need, right? What they need. We're not going to give them just a bunch of tips, and we're gonna vet these. We're going to dig down and confirm and corroborate all the statements, all the evidence or supposed evidence that we get. So when we hand it to them, it is factually correct, 100%. Then maybe there's some pieces that we've taken them as far as we can, but we know what they'll take, and we know what's going to waste their time because we've all been in federal law enforcement, state or local law enforcement. So, and we have strong partners in law enforcement. We meet with them every 5 to 6 weeks. So we know what they want in that folder, right, or that dossier that we hand over. And certain elements of a crime have to be committed in that. So that's what we do.
Okay. So
when
you're
we
an asset to law enforcement too. Then you
that's
give them the
primarily
opportunity to make these, arrests, and you do a ton of the work leading up to it.
that's 65% of what we do.
Okay.
That's why I said we don't come across the rescue piece very often of
Right.
children or adults. Sometimes we do because we're also overseas. Okay, very limited capabilities, and that's by design because I don't have enough money yet. I could go rescue 1,000 kids in the 2 countries we're in tomorrow.
Wow.
I just got to raise that kind of money, and we're working on that. Like I said, most of our work's here, 80% or so is in the States, and that also takes funds. So that's primarily what we do. But we also, we also provide safe housing if it's needed for a day or two. I mean, that's all in coordination with law enforcement does. Nobody can call us saying, I need a place to stay. Law enforcement has to bring that to us or one of the other NGOs we're partnered with in the recovery organizations, restoration, because we don't do that either. We don't work in recovery as far as the healing and counseling and the therapy. We have partners that we have that we would refer them to. To sum it up, I think you could say we're a needs-based organization. If there's a need out there in this space of human trafficking and child exploitation, if we can help, we do. We're not in a box. We find where can we help, how can we assist. But our primary function is to support law enforcement and other agencies, with their task. But I mean, sometimes we'll start our own investigations, and we come across stuff from leads from private sector. We'll build that case. So that's the goal. The goal is to bring the predators down and get help for the survivors.
Do you know the conviction rate of cases you turn over?
Well, we know some. We don't know them all.
Okay.
Sometimes
so you can't follow.
Once we hand it over to law enforcement, we're pretty much out of the picture.
Okay.
They really won't share information with us because now it's an investigation.
Okay.
We understand that. We're good with it,
But if it ends up in court, that's
Oh,
public, right?
If it ends up in court, we'll know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had quite a few end up in court. Some of them I think are ongoing. Some of them we're really not sure because this takes us not only out of Pennsylvania. I mean, we've been in California, we've been in New England, we've been in the South. We try to follow up with them. Sometimes
it would seem to me, just as a business guy, if the things that don't make it to court, if you receive some feedback and you guys had an idea, of where the case was weak, so it could help you, just improve.
They won't take it unless they feel it's going forward.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We don't hand them. We don't hand.
So that's
them
automatic
anything.
then. Okay.
Well, yeah, because we've all been in the job. We know it. We know exactly what they need. And if it doesn't meet that standard, we continue to work until it does. That's why we focus on we have a very robust cyber group. We're hunting remember I said dozens and dozens of kids, one predator taken down. One. So when because we get, how many kids have you rescued? I have no idea. I mean, I know the physical ones. I know the ones that went to court. the 200 plus predators that we've been investigating and those that have been taken down, I don't know how many kids that's affected. You know, that's the goal.
Yeah.
You got to hit it out here. You got to be proactive. And then you got to be, how many kids have we rescued? Speaking to thousands and thousands of kids since last year. I don't know. I know it's a lot because we've had kids call us. We've had kids questions. We've had the counselors saying, hey, we got a couple kids we're concerned about. And we help them who are helping their friends. You know, it's statistically, and that's even with the stats you find online, you know, I kind of take them in generalities because they're not accurate, because it's underreported. You don't know, you know, where things go as far as globally in this, and especially in the forced labor. I mean, those numbers are off the charts. We've identified some forced labor issues in some countries. You know, that's forced labor, the dollar amount associated with forced labor, because they're not paying these kids, yet they're making lithium batteries for all your iPhones. That's in the hundreds of millions of dollars that these companies are saving, right, under forced labor. And we know the condition that these kids are in, and the life expectancy isn't very long in some cases. So it's all relative to the mission of just doing the best and identifying where your assets are going to do the most. And that's what we found. Coming in this way, yet we still work this piece here. I mean, we went and got adults who the traffickers found out where they were, and we went and got them before the trafficker did. I mean, then we get them in a safe place. You know, I mean, like I said, we're sort of a needs-based organization. If we can help, we do. And there's many examples I could give. Some I don't want to give because it sort of involves our trade craft, but that's who we are.
So can people donate to your organization? Because everything's expensive, and this is certainly a cost worth donating to.
Yes, absolutely. We have on our website, we have a donate page, you know, a giving platform, and you'll see all the different things there. But we've launched, the average age of a child to be trafficked is around 14 years old, believe it or not. So, you know, our campaign is for $14 a month. We can take those funds and put them directly to cyber, identifying predators and locating them and sharing that with law enforcement, and educating the junior and senior high schools and even middle schools in some cases. So for $14 a month, that is huge for us. It's because it's the masses, right? I mean, we just get everybody behind, and $14 a month is pretty affordable for most, not all, but it's really going to help us move the needle on this, you know. So that's our campaign right now is, you know, 14 a month, and we can get you on our newsletter, gives updates, gives coming up, you know, fundraisers, other events that if you want to come and participate and just come meet us. We also have a double the donation campaign. If you have a business and you can sign up on the double donation platform and list the Asservo Project, and we've designed it where it can be for the employee maybe $1 a pay or $2 a pay, you know, and then the employer would match that. So if you had 10 employees at $1 per pay, that's $20, you know, a month. And then the employer would match that, right, for 10 employees. Easy way to give, and it's all tax deductible. You know, we're a 501c3. And also, you know, we also have some media campaigns we're working on to get our message out there, you know. So, you know, you get on our website, you can see how to donate, fill out if you have questions, the info piece on the contact page. But we're excited about the $14 a month. We've just really launched this in the last month or so. And we're excited to get people involved. It gets them involved, right? They can, our newsletter, they can keep up on current trends and the things we're working on. We also put links in there nationally of what's occurring. And then also, of course, our events where we're going to be speaking, where we're going to have a fundraiser. We have a 5K run in June. I think it's June 21st. It's on the website. And we have a bicycle ride, same day. It's one of our joint events. And then there's a 1 mile fun walk for the family. And you sign up and, you know, you get people to sponsor you. And
Thank God you say fun walk. I don't run or ride a bike.
one walk,
I can do
one
the
mile,
walking.
1 mile. And it's a family event too, and we get to talk to parents, and we have people there, and it's a really nice day. It's a great time to meet new people,
Great.
and and sometimes we get some businesses that want to come by and say, look, I want to be more involved, and then we meet with them and talk with them
I
how
want to
they.
be more involved,
Yeah.
being that I have a 12-year-old, because what you say matters. And this is so important.
Joe, if someone gave you a blank check, could you talk about what you could do with that, or how you could scale?
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing now. We're looking to scale. Most of our operations and education staff are volunteers, with a few very small part-time people. The blank check, what we would use that money for is to scale. We would start to bring on a full-time investigator, a full-time case management person to manage our cases as we're investigating them and getting them ready for the handoff to law enforcement. We would hire additional analysts full-time, where we would exponentially reach the number of predators. It's more than tenfold. I think it's 11.5%, or 11 times over. Because right now it's part time. It's a few hours here and there, and it's good though. They do really good work. They're very skilled individuals. But we would grow to where it's a full time positions of people to expand, to reach more students, more predators, rescue more people in the middle. We still get calls. I need your help. I have somebody I need moved. I have somebody who wants to talk to you who got away from their trafficker. Our goal is to very methodically expand and scale that makes sense. We're not looking to be 100 people employed here because we run very lean. We're used to running lean because of our careers. A lot of our careers, we were in places with not much resources, but we learned how to get the job done. And that model and that mindset is here as well. We would put, it's the key people with the best return. And of course, we have our third party audits every year, just like any 501c3, we're pretty open to pretty much all of our operation as far as what we do and where our budgets are. Of course, the tradecraft piece, nobody really understands that because we keep that in a separate part of the organization. And it's just because of the nature of the business and who's
Right.
involved. So, but yeah, a blank check. You're the first person that asked me that. So, I to be honest, I would have new problems.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm an
But
operations guy, so
yeah,
that's what.
I would have better. There'd be new problems, but better problems. I
Yeah.
think. So
Well, I mean, you said a big thing there, though. If you having a full time person in every key position, you can then get a much better leverage over volunteers and everything, because then a
oh,
function just continues. It's constantly being addressed and worked on.
hmm
You don't have any downtime in any important areas.
right, right. I mean, and we would scale to multiple analysts and investigators because
Yeah.
that's where we really, really make the impact. In the education piece, education's huge. And we've spoken to CYS. We've talked to them about their needs. They're like, we don't have anywhere to put our kids. The foster care is it's swallowing. You got people that have 6 and 8 foster kids because there's nowhere to put them. So we're also looking at a potential facility down the road. Of course, we know what we're at least what we think we're competent and good at, but we have people around the table that have managed those types of facilities. And eventually, I think we would want to see if we can get that type of support to open one because the kids have nowhere to go. And this would be a safe. We'd have their residents there, their school there, their counseling there. We'd have job retraining there. We'd have equine therapy there. We have all these people around us now. I have connections with the job market and the unions. They're like, when the kids age out, they're like, bring them down. We'll teach them a trade. We'll get them. We'll get them on track. So that we're always looking ahead. We're always looking 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, because we're busy here and this is going to grow. But we're all okay. What do we do now for these kids who we can't help in this? They're aging out or they need a place. We got a good team around here, and I'm pretty proud of them. And I'm looking forward to what the future brings as this growth happens too.
Okay. Last question. I ask this almost all of our candidate interviews. Do you have a sort of philosophy, belief system that informs you, kind of guides you and on a daily basis? And how does that work?
Yeah, yeah. I tell you, I pray to Jesus every day. I mean, I couldn't do all of us if we didn't have faith in what we're doing. Because when you constantly hear the stories of what these individuals have been through, even before they might have been manipulated into trafficking, as a child, some of the things that occurred, they never had a chance. They never, you know, and you hear this every day and every day and every day. You really have to be grounded in what you're doing to get to the other side of it to help them. So, for me and most people, we're faithful individuals. We believe in God. Some people might believe in God. They might be Jewish. I don't know. Similar, same, different. But we rely on that. We rely on that, and it keeps us focused to do the right thing. Because and this is a business as well, right? And you come out there and you got people coming to you and they want involved, or there's strings attached to monies sometimes. Well, I want to do more over here, and we just try to be focused on our objective: identify and locate predators so law enforcement can make the arrest, educate our children, rescue those in the middle piece that we can to get them out of harm's way in a safe environment. But I rely on that. I rely on my faith because for 29 years, I've seen a lot of horrible things that humans do to humans. And this is no different. This is probably some of the worst that I've ever seen. But it keeps me focused, it keeps me strong, and it keeps me comfortable in knowing that we will make a difference here for these individuals that are in this horrific life that many, by no fault of their own, find themselves in. And the other side of that is holding the predators accountable, 100%. We're not revenge oriented. We don't kick in doors. We're an information intelligence gathering organization to support law enforcement and other organizations. And that helps us keep grounded too, because when you come across a predator and what they've done to some people, you really have sort of that, like, this person really needs to be punished type of thing. But we know that it's law enforcement that's going to do that. You got to put your trust in that and move to the next case.